Yo, what's up? This is Jameson with Kozmo King TCG, here to do a zombie deck profile utilizing the new support we received, or some of the new support we received in the new zombie structure deck. That was the retrain of the old, I believe it was like 2003 structure deck. Got some pretty good cards that came in the deck to help make zombies a little bit better and more competitively viable than they were before. Spam deck, being able to spam is also very good. This is also not an extra link version of the deck, seeing as like I don't have malicious right now. Once I'm able to pick up a playset of malicious, if it doesn't get hit on the ban list coming up soon, then I will be able to do an extra link deck profile for this. And I'm also working on the Mayakashi zombies, to where I can do the pure variant, or Mayakashi zombies, and then the FTK version of that deck as well coming up. But for right now, let's jump into this deck profile. To start out this build, I run one of the best zombie cards ever made. Shirnui Solitaire, Lone Fire. It's a great Lone Fire Blossom for the zombie archetype, which helps you get into your zero defense tuners. And when it gets banished, you can special summon one of the other Shirnuis from the banished zone out. Granted, like I only run one other one, which we'll see later down the line. So we mostly just use it to go off of one of our trap cards, and for the starting play to get into the next card, which is the double Unizombie. I run two of the Unizombie because I'd rather open the Solitaire to get into Unizombie, because I can instantly get two monsters out to either go into a level 8 Synchro or into Vampire Sucker. But you can use each of its effects once per turn. Either ditch a card from hand to make it or another card on the field's level up by 1, or I can send one from the deck to the grave to make it up by 1. But when you use the deck effect, only zombie monsters can attack. But since you main and you play zombie world, that's not usually an issue because everything becomes a zombie on field. Next up, I play the double Gozuki, another Foolish Burial in the deck, and also like once it hits grave, you can banish another zombie monster from grave to special summon a zombie from hand, which can help grant you a little bit more advantage later down the line. And of course, like your best graveyard resource, we play the triple Mizuki. I'm playing 3 because I feel this is a must at 3 in a pure zombie build, especially with zombie world, because every little thing you throw down, like if they kill any of your links or anything with zombie worlds on the field, you're able to use Mizuki to get it back. And then in tandem with the barrel from a different dimension, you can just completely recycle his abilities, especially also with Omega being able to put him back later down the line too. For some of the new support, I run 2 of the Glow Up Bloom. It's also a really good starter card because you can get it at least into the Vampire Sucker and have the new boss monster out, which gives you a good amount of a couple interruptions on your opponent's turn. But the only downside to his effect is when you use it, you can only special summon zombie monsters, which really limits some of your extra deck plays going first. So it wants to be one of the last things that you do starting out with the card. And of course, next up is the new Doom King boss monster. Special summons itself back during the standby phase as long as there's a field spell on the board. It doesn't matter if you have one or your opponent does. It comes back, and its effects once per chain. You can negate a monster if a zombie monster activates the effect. Except for him, you can negate the effect, or you can banish a banish a monster from field or grave. Sorry, I've only ever used it for a monster. I was just making sure. You can only use it once per chain, but you can only use each part once per turn. So twice you'll be able to you'll either be able to negate an effect and banish a monster at least once each turn. So like monster with 2 effects, like that's just great. and it comes back. It's a 2800 beater. Next up, I tech in double Vampire Froline because I do try to push for the OTK as much as possible, and she's a great OTK enabler. You can basically pay up to 3,000 life points in damage calculation to have a zombie monster you control and gain that much attack. So if you have it in tandem with that, you make him a 5800 beater. And her other effect is like it's a little difficult to go off unless you use her own effect on her, since she has 600 attack. That if she destroys monster by battle, you can special summon it, which can be good, but she also can be good in tandem with the Glow Up Bloom, because Glow Up Bloom adds to hand if you don't have the zombie world on field. So if you're unable to do that, you can at least get the Vampire Froline in hand to utilize during your opponent's battle phase. For the one-ofs for the zombie monsters, I play the one Banshee because you really only need one. You want to open up multiples or anything, seeing as this one is a 40 card build and you're already running the 2 terraforming. She's basically a replacement for the third one and another quick effect zombie effect, because like if you do have her out on board, she does protect the zombie world, which is still really good. But like say if she goes to get destroyed and you don't have one out, you can quick effect banish her to activate zombie world to the field or add it to hand. You'd rather activate it, that way you have it right then and there, depending on what else is on board. And like I said earlier, I only run one other Shiranui monster, and I play the one Spirit Master, because when it's normal summoned, you can special summon a Shiranui monster from the graveyard, but the monster it special summons is banished when it leaves the field. And also too, if this card's banished, you can pop a face-up card on the board, and it can give you a little bit of an extra clear. And it's also a face-up card your opponent controls. I only run 3 hand traps in this, and that's the 3 Ash Blossom. It's most versatile, best hand trap with format, best hand trap pretty much period. And it's a zombie, so like if you don't have zombie rolled out, you can still use Unizombie to get into your level 7 synchros. And of course for the spells, speaking of zombie rolled, we run 3 of the zombie world. There are a couple decks that this card being on the field completely like screws up their plays, like Cyber Dragons and Burning Abyss if they're trying to utilize the Fiendish Rhino Warrior, since their monsters on field are no longer fiend monsters, they're zombies. And for Cyber Dragons, they're not machines, they're zombies. So no, you won't have to worry about Infinity or some of the Contact Fusion cards. And to utilize Zombie World faster, we of course, like I said earlier, run the 2 terraforming, and also helps out too with the Banshee. That way it's like you're having 3 terraforming all over again. For draw support, I play the 2 Pot of Desires. I don't play Allure in this build because I do not run that many dark monsters. I think there's only like 5, maybe 5 or 6 in the deck, and running the ones you run, you really don't want to banish off of Allure of Darkness, so Pot of Desires is the way to go. And of course, like it is with anything else, like it's best to use after you've already gone through your plays and gotten things you need out of the deck, because it is very unfortunate when you activate this card and banish 2 to 3 of your Mizukis, because only getting left with 1 or none really hinders your future plays. Just because the card's sacky and it's fun to bring up Boral Sword a lot easier, or any of the other Link 4s we play Double Scapegoat, just to get a little bit of extra board advantage, swing for the OTK, or gain a little bit more control of things on the board when there's something you can't take care of immediately. And because your normal summon is extremely important in this deck, we do play the 2 Call of the Haunted, because getting your Solitaire ashed is very horrible, or your Unizombie ashed is not fun, or Veilered, or any of that kind of stuff. Also too, if you're unable to use it, if you play against decks with graveyard effects, this is really great to use, especially like when you're playing against like Burning Abyss and you banish the important monsters, like especially if you hit that Seer or that Graph, like it's just GG no re. My one-up spells, we of course play the Foolish Burial, because the graveyard is your greatest resource tool for this deck, so you want to gain as much advantage as you can in the graveyard as possible. The one for one to turbo out the Glow Up Bloom, that way you're not utilizing your normal summon on it, and you're able to do other plays before you have to go off with its effect. We also played the one Burial from a different dimension. I only played it one because I don't want to open multiples of it. In turn, it's like a very sacky, like, top deck type card. So like when all three Mizukis are banished, you send them right back into grave, and you just use the effects all over again to spam more zombies on board. And for my revival cards, I of course play the one Book of Life. It's not a good first turn place because you have to banish an opponent's monster from their grave, but it is an extender after your first turn play to gain more bodies on board. The one Monster Reborn, because it's Monster Reborn, and why would you not want to have more monsters? And of course, Game Charge. You just build up your board with negates. I did one earlier where I ended with a Vampire Sucker, a Link Karibo, the FA Dawnstar, I think that's what its name is, Dawnstar, Dragster, and the zombie boss monster out. Basically leaves you with 3 negates and a attack reducing effect. And also too, if you're having the Vampire Sucker out, if your opponent brings anything out from grave, it gives you will give you an extra plus on their turn for card advantage for your next turn. And I only play one trap. Play the Shiranui style Swallow Slash. Tribute a zombie monster, destroy 2 cards on the field, and then you can banish a Shiranui monster from deck. So if you didn't open the Spirit Master, you you essentially get to pop 3 with it. And then even better, like say you've already used one of these with the Spirit Master before, you can banish the Solitaire, one of the extra Solitaires that get left in deck, which will bring back out the Spirit Master to push for link plays, or just have that extra body on board when you need that last little bit of damage on board when you think you have game. On to my extra deck for this build. I play the 2 Vampire Suckers because Link Karibo sometimes is used for the Glow Up Bloom, and when you have Zombie World on board, your Scapegoat tokens become zombies, and it's just 2 zombie monsters, so it's generic for zombies. You don't have to worry about them being tokens or anything. If you have to tribute summon, which you pretty much shouldn't, it's the only card that's going to be like the one of is going to be the Froline, and a lot of times she special summons her stuff and you won't have to, but you can tribute one of your opponent's monsters. You can also anytime a zombie monster is special summoned from the graveyard, Vampire Sucker lets you draw a card once per turn, and also you can forcibly have your special summon one of your opponent's monsters on their side of the field to get the draw off and make it a zombie, so she does get let you get that draw. For the one-ofs, I of course play the one Link Karibo for either the Scapegoat plays or the Glow Up Bloom plays, and the one Link Spider for the Scapegoat play because I don't run any other normal monsters in the deck. It's the only thing it's going to be useful for. Next up are the Nightmares. I play the one Cerberus, the one Phoenix, and the one Unicorn, which at this point are pretty much self-explanatory. You can go through the link-up plays with Scapegoat, depending on how your game's going. Also with the Mizukis, you can do your link-up and be able to get the link, get a link like this, or be able to get your Firewall to eventually bring this out to where you are able to, you can possibly extra link with it, but like that's not my main focus with the deck, since I'm not running the Mermaid or the Ibli in the deck right now. But I will do a profile for it eventually down the line. It's just out of everything, the Iblis is probably going to be the biggest pain in the ass to find without having to pay retail for it. For my Link 4s, we play the best OTK enabler, Boral Sword. Play the one Boral Load in case there's a monster that can't be targeted or you don't have an easy way to get over it or it can't be destroyed by battle. Just take it and let it go to grave at the end of the next turn. And of course, Firewall, probably the most broken Link monster in the game, needs to be banned. It's not going to happen, so we're just going to get to do as many degenerate plays as we possibly can with it. For my synchros, I only play 2 level 8s. I play the Shiranui Shogun Saga. When this is synchro summoned, you can banish a zombie monster from your graveyard to give it an attack boost. So basically any of the monsters you're able to go off. Good play I like to do is bring him out after you've used the Shiranui trap, and you banish the Solitaire from grave to bring back out the Spirit Master. And of course, we play the 1 Omega. If you're able to open this in the different dimensional ground, you're basically essentially able to go back to being able to do double Omega, because we of course only have 1 Omega now, and ripping cards out of your opponent's hand can be very important. And for my 7s, I play the 1 Black Rose Dragon for board clearing. The new Red Eyes zombie monster. Basically, it's free advantage, and when zombie rolls on the board, the card just gains a bunch of attack and is able to help with the OTK, and it gives you special summons if it destroys monsters by battle, which is always good. And we play, of course, the 1 FA Dawn Dragster for the spell and trap negation. So basically, like, having this, where is it? Vampire Sucker, the Link Karibo. I'll back out a little bit. And this guy with a Froline in hand. Your opponent is going to have a hard time getting over your board because you're able to protect a lot of your stuff and be able to limit somewhat of what your opponent's able to do on their turn. Well, that's my build so far, my take on the zombie deck with utilizing the new stuff and some of the old stuff and taking in that little bit of that vampire spice into it. If you enjoyed this video and you would love to see like future content and anything else we decide to do on the channel for Yu-Gi-Oh, please like, comment, and subscribe down below. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys later.